The baby is asleep. How am I going to make this work? Hey y'all, it's Lindsay and I want to show you a variation on skinny chocolate today. On Trim Healthy Mama, there is a recipe that is pretty much a standard, basic, staple type recipe to keep in your refrigerator or your freezer, especially if you're a chocolate lover, and that is skinny chocolate. The recipe is all over Pinterest, all over Facebook apparently. I'm not on Facebook, but I'm told it's all over Facebook. It's everywhere. It's in the original cookbook. So skinny chocolate is nothing new or fancy or whatever. I never really want to tell you what Jared approved chocolate is. I just tell you it's a variation of skinny chocolate. And the variation is this. I bump up the cocoa quite a bit. I bump up the sweetener a smidge, and we add in extracts. That's basically what it is. It never turns out the same ever because I refuse to follow a specific recipe. Jared would greatly appreciate it if I would make it identical, like batch after batch after batch. But there's just some sort of disconnect in my brain there. We need to have a chat. Why have none of you suggested that I try out black cocoa powder? Like, I knew about it, but I never had it on my radar to actually try it. And I finally bought some, and holy smokes, look at this. This whole container, it was actually full whenever I bought it, was $2.10, so very inexpensive. Like, this is black gold. This is amazing. Oh my word. All it is cocoa that's processed with alkali, which basically removes the acidity in this and makes it a pH of like 8. Give or take. And I think that black cocoa powder might be one of those polarizing things where you either love it and are obsessed with it like me, or you hate it and you can't stand the thought or taste of it. I bought this and I decided to make my version of Jared approved chocolate with it. This is not Jared approved chocolate yet because he's yet to taste it. This particular cocoa powder, like, it reminds me of something so amazing and so familiar that was my absolute all-time favorite cookie growing up. Anytime I was eating standard American diet, if I could make these perfectly, like if these came out in a low-carb, sugar-free version that was like legitimate and not full of junk ingredients, I would buy them all day, every day, and that is Oreos. Oreos have been my all-time favorite cookie for as long as I can remember, and I've not really tried to fully recreate Oreo cookies because the texture is like, it's a crumbly cookie and it's got like that just Oreo taste. It's just so good. But finding this black cocoa powder and turning it into skinny chocolate or Jared approved chocolate, because my ratios are different than skinny chocolate. Amazing, y'all. Amazing. So amazing. If you like Oreo cookies, definitely give this a try. Now, black cocoa powder has its own set of rules when it comes to things like baking. You can't really just substitute black cocoa powder for natural 100% cocoa powder because of the fact that it is more basic than it is acidic. There's a lot of chemically sciencey things that go on, but basically if a recipe calls only for baking soda as the leavening agent, you can't use black cocoa powder as your acidic to create the CO2 bubbles to make the thing rise. But since we are just making a version of skinny chocolate here, I don't care. None of those things apply. All that matters here is taste. For my personal preferences, I like bitter stuff. This to me does not taste bitter. To some people, it tastes extremely bitter and less chocolatey, but to me, this tastes extremely chocolatey and way less bitter than natural cocoa powder. That's the long and the short of it. So I've already made a bunch of this stuff, but I want to show you how I do that. For ease of use today, I'm just going to show you from this angle. I'm going to be using my Ninja blender and using one of my single serve cups to make this. I am going to start out with some of this Nutiva refined coconut oil. This makes it not have a coconut flavor, which we appreciate when it comes to our skinny chocolate or Jack or whatever. And here's the thing, I do not measure much. I just kind of like plop stuff in. This, it looks messy, but it's about half a cup of coconut oil. I'm going to warm this up. Okay, here we are. Half cup of coconut oil. So next I'm going to take my homemade Gentle Sweet. And I'm going to use about 2 tablespoons. And then I'm going to 3/8 of a cup of this black cocoa powder. A little bit of pink salt. Splash of vanilla. Okay, I'm going to go blend this up in my Ninja. Okay. I'm gonna go put this into the freezer to let it fully set, and then I will show you what it turns out like. While that chocolate is setting up in the freezer, I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about numbers for my entire recipe of this version of Oreo Skinny Chocolate. That's like, I think I'm gonna call it that, Oreo Skinny Chocolate. It is 112 grams of fat, 60 grams of carbs, which 48 of those are from erythritol. So my net carbs for the entire recipe is 12 grams, and then 12 grams of protein. And I'm calling this a 4-serving amount. I know in the Trim Healthy Mama book, they tell you to not go over about 1/3 of their skinny chocolate recipe, but I'm gonna call this a 4-serving recipe. And so for a single serving of this, it is approximately 28 grams of fat, 15 grams total carbs, or 3 net carbs, because 12 of those carbs would be from the erythritol in the Gentle Sweet, and then approximately 3 grams of protein per serving. So that turns out to be some pretty decent macros for S. Or for keto, but holy cow, you guys, this stuff tastes like Oreo cookies. It's just amazing, amazing. Okay, y'all, my Oreo Skinny Chocolate is out of the freezer. I use this chocolate bar silicone mold. I bought this on Amazon 2 years ago. I'll see if I can link it down below. But here it is, and it pops out like super easily. Oh my goodness. Oh, look at that. If that's not black chocolate goodness, I don't know what is. And Lauren is down here making a ruckus, so forgive the sound. I will say this much, black cocoa powder is a lot more messy than regular cocoa powder, so be aware of that. This tastes just like an Oreo cookie. Like without the cream filling, just the cookie part, straight up, 100%, that's the flavor I get. So about 1/4 of that recipe is gonna be what I'm calling a serving size. But I find that with my Jared approved chocolate and with regular skinny chocolate, it's not quite, it's like I keep needing more of it to actually feel satisfied by it. With this Oreo Skinny Chocolate, it's a whole nother level. I don't feel like I need 8 pieces to feel like I've gotten that chocolate flavor. It's more intense. It's like somehow like richer, but like more Oreo-like. Like honestly, I just feel way more satisfied after a single piece of that compared to Jack or Skinny Chocolate being like 4 to 8 to 12 pieces. Like this bar size of Skinny Chocolate or Jared approved chocolate would be like what I would consider like a serving to make me feel satisfied and content with the amount of chocolate that I got. But like right now, if like I'm done, which is really, really rare for me to say. I think that like this has 20 of those little segments. Can you see that in the light? Is that good? I'm pretty sure that 2 or 4 of those would be more than enough for me to feel like I had gotten that rich chocolatey flavor. That's Oreo Skinny Chocolate. At least that's what I think I'm gonna call it, because honestly, like that's exactly what it tastes like. And like I said, the ratios are different than regular Skinny Chocolate. They are more in line with my Jack. So I don't know. It's a winner in my book, and I'm pretty sure that it's going to be my new go-to chocolate candy recipe for sure. Ooh, making some Treeces, like the Trim Healthy Mama version of Reese's peanut butter cups, but doing it with this Oreo. I see some very grand possibilities in our future. Very grand. That's all I wanted to share with you today. Let me know in the comments if you have tried out black cocoa powder and what are your favorite ways to use it if you have tried it. I'm gonna go take care of the rest of this Oreo Skinny Chocolate and I will see y'all in the next video. Bye.